For me, honestly, it's that it's hard. It's tough. You feel badass when you're in here in this freaking 95-degree heat with 100% humidity. Nobody's around. Nobody's seeing what I'm doing. I have to force myself to get here and get it done. I have not competed in about two and a half years, but at the same time, I thrive in that challenge. I don't have people cheering me on. I don't have all the hype with me. I want to kind of just throw myself back into the fire. When I do compete, or I do have those external things like the music, the vibes, the energy, right? That's only gonna amplify what I'm doing right now. Because if I can do this on my own and not have all the glitz and glam and the hype and the external factor, once I get that, it's almost like star power. All right, so today we are actually on a deload. I've been pushing very hard and heavy for the last 3-4 weeks. So today, a little bit of a deload, meaning that we're still gonna push, but we're gonna reduce some of the volume and the weight a little bit. So I'm gonna go through a pretty good warm up. As you get older, for me personally, I find that I'm gonna have to warm up a little bit longer. I do have some nagging aches and pains, and by putting a little bit of extra time into that warm up, it definitely helps me. So you guys may see some of that. Then main movement's gonna be log, clean, and press. So in my competition coming up in less than a month, I do have a log, clean, and press event, which is typically more of a strong suit for me, but this is a very heavy show. So I'm gonna be doing 6 sets of 3 with 240 pounds, nothing crazy, but I just wanna work that technique, make sure all my gear and equipment is in check, and just really dial in on my mental state, the cues that I have internally for the show. And then we just have some accessory, which is gonna be more upper body. So some lat pull downs, some rows, some dips, and a little bit of core work. So nothing too intense today, but I would say what would be intense in this session has to be my focus and my technique and making sure everything is nice and crispy, like a chicken crispy from McDonald's. For this session in a warm up, usually I love hopping on the Devil's Tricycle, the Echo bike for about 3 minutes, you know, pumping, pushing the arms, getting the legs fired up. Then I'll do some lower readiness. So I'm working through some lower back issues. I'm actually working with a PT, Ben Torres, longtime hometown friend who's also a phenomenal PT. So he gives me some protocols to do, and that's gonna be my lower readiness for the most part, making sure my low back is good, my hips are nice and loose. And then from there, we're gonna go upper readiness because we are doing the log, clean, and press. Gotta make sure that we're firing up those shoulders. So we got some banded rows, we got some banded presses, we got some upright rows, a little bit of plyometric with some explosive push-ups, and then we're gonna roll right into the log, clean, and press. So I'm gonna get warmed up. The sweat's already flowing, but we're gonna get it flowing even more like the Nile baby, and then we'll just crush it. Weight will be hoisted, veins will be exploding, hopefully not blood vessels in the eyes. It's gonna be a good one. Well, first off, Strongman, you have basically a trunk full of gear and equipment depending on the situation. And if you're trying to lift as much weight as possible, you try to get as much support as possible, or else you're just gonna end up in Snap City. But we got flat shoes. These are the Strike Movement Haze trainers. I'm digging them. A little bit more of a narrow toe box. So for me, it took some time to kind of wear them in before they were really comfortable. Thinking about getting the Born Primitive Savages next, try those out. But if you guys have shoes you like, comment down below. Then I've had these Adidas weightlifting shoes for over 10 years. They're actually falling apart, as you can see. These are my bread and butter, my babies. And I just bought a new pair of Tier weightlifting shoes, so I'm gonna try those out. But yeah, we got multiple belts, leather belts, we got lever belts, prong belts, soft belts. We got elbow sleeves, knee sleeves, wrist wraps, helmets. No, I'm kidding, we don't have helmets, but probably should wear one. So right now I'm gonna throw on my knee sleeves, throw on my weightlifting shoes. We're gonna do a little bit of some plyometric push-ups, get the nervous system fired up, get the log out, and just start ramping into it with the log. So that's kind of my gear. Oh, and then the big one, well, I didn't mention, was I got these briefs. These are the Odd Object briefs. Really like these. I know a lot of people like Reband or the Evolution ones, but really been digging these. And then I got brace layer tights, which are worth every penny because they have added knee support, which is huge for me. I have chronic quad tendonitis, and then just helps cushion the knees. They keep warmth all over the joints. They get rid of moisture fairly quickly, and they don't smell. So highly recommend getting a pair of these. I'm not affiliated with any of this stuff. This is just what I wear, and I'm always trying different products to see what works best. And then kind of like we're gonna talk about today, I'll go through, you know, the gear that I'm wearing for the log clean and press, making sure that everything is where I want it, whether it's the belt setup, you know, my wrist wraps, elbows, all that type of deal, because I do think that matters, especially when you're trying to put as much weight overhead as possible. Slightly anecdotal for what works best for me, but I figured somebody out there may want to play around and try it to see if it works for you as well. So now let's get dressed up. Said, not super heavy. In this prep so far, I've hit 370 on the log for a double, consistently between like 350 to 370 for my heavy weeks. The show, heaviest log show I've ever done. So you have to do a clean and press with 340. So clean press, then another one. So you're cleaning each rep, and then go to 380 for 2, which is, I mean, that's pretty freaking heavy, guys. That's almost what World's Strongest Men are doing. You know, if you're getting close to 400 pounds in a log clean and press, that's a big deal. So for me, it's like just hitting those weights in a show is a PR. I've never done that in a show before. I think the heaviest log I've done was maybe 335 or 340 when I first started. So I'm gonna work up 240 today, 6 sets of 3, really trying to ingrain my technique. The biggest issue, or not issue, thing I'm trying to figure out right now is whether or not I want to do a push press or a push jerk. So the push press allows me more control, where I can time my dip and I can really drive through. It's a little bit more of a stationary or a static movement versus the dynamic of the jerk, which is you really got to commit, be super explosive, and there's way more room for error in that if you don't fully commit to it. So I'll kind of play around with maybe both today, and then I think in this next week or so coming up, I want to work some heavier singles or doubles, probably within that 340 to 360 range. And I want to try either the push jerk or the push press and seeing what I feel most confident in. That way, when I get to the show, I already know in my head whether I'm going to do the push jerk or the push press. So I do like having that background of Olympic lifting, doing a ton of jerk variations, but I will say I'm a lot heavier now. When I was lighter and a bit more athletic, doing a lot of Olympic lifting, I was just a little bit more explosive. So I'm in that middle point where it could go either way, and we're just trying to see. And I've been training for this since about the beginning of March. So this will be a quick turnaround time, you know, starting from March without competing in 2 years and doing much strongman, besides just kind of fun stuff on the weekends, doing to a full prep. So once again, I enjoy it because I'm experimenting, getting myself back in the ring and just seeing what I'm made of and testing the metal. So we'll keep warming up here. This is a 90-pound log. Usually I'll do like 25 and then throw a 10 on and keep going back and forth between those. And we're just gonna ingrain good technique today. All right, so throwing on my Cerberus soft belt, just add a little support to the low back. Has some back straps in there as well, which is nice. Some of them don't, some of them do, depends on your personal preference. And then I'm actually gonna rock the brand new SBD lever belt. So I'm really excited about this. My other lever belt just didn't fit right, so I just ordered this, and we're gonna see how this feels. The other thing when you have this soft belt is it protects you from getting pinched by the implements. So whether you're doing a log clean and press or an axle bar, once you kind of get it above this lever belt, typically what happens is it slides down. If you have any skin sitting there, it'll just crush it. I actually have like a hole in, I guess my abdominal skin right here from getting pinched so bad. Somehow like put a little hole in my skin. So that'll teach you. And I'm sure if you've done it, you know what I'm talking about. It sucks. The last thing you want to be thinking about when you're doing these lifts is pain, right? You want to be focused on the technique and, you know, crushing the event, not, oh my gosh, I feel like I just squished my innards and they're blowing out of my belly button. All right, so what I'm thinking about with this log, as you can see, I actually taped the handles and I have a little bit of tape here because this is a pretty sharp log. And then obviously it being like the Sahara right now, I need a little bit extra grip because I'm just saturated in my own sweat. So I want to make sure that my feet are pretty much lined up, either hip or shoulder width. I've done other log tutorials, but if you're watching this video and it's your first time, I'll give you a brief rundown on this one. From here, what I like to do, slightly angle the handles just a little bit forward, just like that. Kind of have my hand right in the middle. Some people will say different, but for me in the middle works. From there, I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna sit nice and low. And I'm gonna hug it in, and this right now, in this low position, I'm actually getting my lever of my belt underneath of the log, so it acts like a shelf. And this would be the lever. My log is sitting on top of it. So when I roll, I have a nice supporting kind of wall to roll up my body with. And then from there, we'll get into the press position. So I'm right here, I'm gonna hug it in, roll it up to here, get set, squeeze my butt, looking up towards the sky, get one last breath of fresh air. Press it overhead. All right. Boom. Just like that. So things like the log or bigger objects can typically make people a little lightheaded to the point where maybe sometimes they feel like they're gonna pass out or do pass out. I've had that happen. So my biggest key of advice is get that big roll, get in your front rack. Before you go, take one quick breath of air. It's gonna circulate some oxygen to the brain, and then you gotta press. If you hold your breath too long, sometimes that pressure can just sit right on that carotid, and then you can go night-night. So making sure you have that good front rack, it's comfortable, get a good breath of air, be explosive, drive hard, punch yourself underneath the log, should be good to go. I'm throwing on the elbows. So I'll pretty much gear up as if this was comp weight, just get the feel for it. Like I said, just fine tuning all the gear, what I'm wearing, where I need the belt to be, how tight make my wrist wraps. It sounds stupid and maybe a lot, but you know, when you watch a lot of Ray Lewis videos and he gets you pretty hyped, talking about how many hours of film he watched to the point where he knew exactly what the guy was gonna do by the look in his eyes and where he put his feet on the line. Makes you realize that the fine details matter. That's what separates good from the great. So I'm just trying to be Ray Lewis. You gotta have fun, you know? Like I struggle with comparing myself to the past, but it's like, that's the thief of joy, right? Comparison, especially when it's to yourself. When I was 240, I was pretty much strong, or if not stronger than I am right now, but I didn't look as jacked, I didn't look as big, so I guess aesthetically, I look better now, but, and I haven't really been dialed in as long as I was in the past, so who knows if I stay consistent with it, where things can go. I think that's gonna be the key here. And just realizing, like, if you're gonna be doing this for forever, there's gonna be times where you're close to your next PR and your last PR, right? Think about that. Every day, I'm closer to a new PR and my last. So that day will come, and if I'm tied to numbers and how I was in the past, that's a pretty miserable existence when it comes to training. So you really gotta focus on enjoying the process and just doing the best you can with where you're at in life, you know? There's no playbook when you have a kid or buy a house or career changes. So many variables, right? Whatever fits your situation. So just learn to appreciate the opportunity to train, that people don't have that. Some people will never train, or just because of where they're born, they don't have the opportunity to train. So just be very thankful if you're watching this, that you freaking have a computer, you have YouTube or a cell phone to be able to watch this content and get into the gym and have fun. Because at the end of the day, it don't really matter, man. What matters is you enjoying it and just getting better as a person, you know, in the gym and outside of the gym. I'm gonna hit this last set. I felt like that was my best set, so love to end with the best set, right? Last set, best set, baby! Now I got a lever, I can do one of that. Oh! You see, that was actually not as cool as I thought it'd be, so probably people making the belt flick look like the coolest thing ever. You're a liar! It's not! I need some Jocko hydrate. Gotta say, this could not have come at a better time. This PA weather sucks testicles, which I don't know if you know is a god in Greek mythology with just massive testicles. But listen, we got 100 milligrams magnesium, 200 milligrams potassium, 300 milligrams sodium, 540 milligrams of chloride. So this is hydration to the best of all ability. And let me tell you, I am just sweating all day, every day in here, and I need this. So shout out Jocko Hydrate. Fruit punch or the orange or the lemon lime are my favorite ones. I drink them all the time. All right, so finished the log. Did my 6 sets of 3, 1 clean, press away. Felt really good with the jerk and kind of just fine tuning details, making sure I'm putting the log where I need it to have the best clean and then a good rack position for the press and being explosive. So now the accessory, I'm gonna do lat pull downs, 4 sets of 8, ramping up to a heavy set of 8 today, which is nice because it's technically a deload. So usually it may be like 4 sets across, same weight, pushing really hard and heavy for those 4 sets. But since it's deload, we're gonna ramp up and just get 1 good top set out of there. So still feel like you're getting some work done. I'm gonna use the regular pull down grip, so I'm not frying my hands. Usually I like doing pull downs without straps as long as I can, which will help give me some extra grip work. But since I've been training really hard, my hands are definitely getting taxed from a lot of the arm over arm that I'm doing, or the rowing, and just picking up implements and sandbag work. So we'll use straps, just looking to get a good pump in the back, and then we'll move on to the other things that we have. I should have also said in the beginning of this video, this is my new gym. It's a private gym. I'm not gonna give you a gym tour because that'll be a separate video, but it's pretty freaking rad. I just love it. It's probably the best year of my life, hands down, for so many reasons. But having my own training space, perfect size, all my goodies in here. My personality, gritty, just a hardworking, blue collar mindset. This is where we throw down, and this is where champions will be made. Pretty good. I have to make sure I take these plates off, or my wife will put me in the doghouse whenever she comes in here and these plates are left on. Woo! That's when you meet Jerry, aka the dark side of Jordan. Whoa! I just climaxed. I had so much power in that I just blew off the seat cushion. It's actually because there's no pin in there, but I think I have 2 more reps. I gotta finish. I have to finish! Layton, when you watch this video and you're a teenager, I'm sorry. Your dad's a freak. Next on tap, we got dips, 2 sets, max rep. You may be, oh, it's not much. It's a 5 count down and a 5 count up tempo. Brutal. Then we just got seal rows and some spread eagle sit-ups. All right, so I'm just gonna superset. I got my dips and then I have the chest supported rows. In my off season, I've really been wanting to develop a bigger upper back. So I did a lot of hypertrophy work to build my upper back. And that included different barbell row variations, but a ton of chest supported work. And within like 4 or 5 months, I can definitely tell that it's helped a lot with my upper back, on top of eating more food and fueling myself to grow. But if you're somebody who's looking for bigger upper back, you know, especially in the off season, before you get back into your strength stuff or strongman movements, hammer chest supported work and just heavier row variations, and your back, I swear, will grow. And even the byproduct of the chest supporters, you get a little bit of trap involved in there, which really just completes that monster look that a lot of people are going for. And that was always something I was lacking. But then we're gonna do dips. Also, like I said, it's a 5 count down tempo and a 5 count up, so it makes it a lot more challenging. Depending on what you're looking for, if you wanna bias the triceps or the chest, you can just change your angle a little bit. For me, I like kind of just being right in the middle, because I do think strengthening my chest a bit is gonna help, especially with incline work, or kind of like that log when we're leaning back a little bit, somewhat of an incline press there. And then obviously the triceps we wanna hammer for our lockout strength with any overhead press movement, where you'll see people, they usually get stuck right around here and can't get just that little bit more lockout from the triceps. So I do a lot of dips, I do a lot of close grip work, and then just a lot of tricep isolation movements. And I was saying last year or so, my triceps have gotten very, very, very strong from doing that. And that's off season work, and then just doubling down when you're in strongman to make sure it carries over properly. Everything I like about tempo work, especially if you're somebody who has an injury, tempo work's great. Whether it's with squats or benching, it's gonna make sure that you can't go super heavy. And it's also gonna reinforce good technique, get a lot of blood flow to the area, and also help with strengthening ligaments and tendons. So typically when I'm having knee problems or shoulder issues, elbow, I'll do a lot of tempo work to kind of help rehab that and hold myself back. So can't push super heavy, which could cause a little bit more irritation to the area. And this helps get you really strong, right? Like if you can control a good amount of weight with a solid tempo, whether it's 5 or a 3 count, chances are once you go back to a regular cadence, it's gonna be a lot easier. And you're gonna feel a hell of a lot stronger. So really enjoy doing them. I just want to die. I just want to die. So leave me to die here in my sweaty asylum cemetery. I have no reason to live anymore. It pillaged my family. It took everything from me. And now I must row the weight, carry the weight on my back. You know, I'm competing and I'm peaked, I'm rested and recovered, and I'm hoping I think it's an inside venue, so like, I won't have to worry about just this heat affecting the training system. Can't even talk about that. The heat affecting the training sessions, which definitely influences rate of perceived exertion, right? Like being in here, it's so hot and humid, my heart rate's already elevated. You're pretty much in zone 2 almost the entire time. So to be able to be in a climate controlled setting, not have to worry about being so saturated by your own sweat, but you know that it affects your grip and how the log moves, all that stuff. I'm hoping it's just make the training harder, you know, than the competition needs to be. So everything just feels so good. And I've always had that mindset of, you know, train harder than the actual test. And I mean, I think it's been true. Don't you think that's been true?
Yeah, for sure.
Like we run a sports camp here and it's gritty, it's bare bones. You know, the first couple weeks, they're in for a rude awakening just because they're not used to training in this heat all the time, this environment. But it calluses you, it not only physically, but mentally. And then when you go out to play, you're like, this is it? This is what I've been training for? You know, and sometimes it catches people off guard because they just feel so good. So it's always, you know, how can you make that training harder than the game or harder than the competition? So when you show up, just about executing, feeling your best and showing everybody what you put in for that prep. Message all you 125 guys, August 8th and 9th. You may beat me, but if you do, that just makes me hungrier. And it makes me just want to keep climbing up that mountain. And it may not be that day, it may not be next month, but I guarantee you, I'm getting you one of those days. Guarantee it. Put money on it. Put some freaking dollar bills on it. I'm gonna rob your ass. Whole spread eagle action. Those spread eagle fans out there. I like this, definitely a good core exercise. You can also feel it in the hips, kind of the adductors, hamstrings a little bit. So good stretch. Like I said, good core exercise. So doing sets about 15 to 20 of these, just 3 sets. Always try to do a little bit of core work throughout my training sessions, which I know a lot of people say, if you lift heavy, you have a strong core. Yes, you have a strong core for lifting heavy, but that doesn't translate to some other examples of core strength. So yes, it's great to have a strong core when you're lifting heavy, but it's also good to do rotational work, different planks, and isometric holds, whether it's a side or whether you're doing hip raises, stuff like that, or hanging from a bar, doing some knees to chest, mix it up. And it doesn't necessarily have to be tons of reps either, where you can do progressive overload on core work, or maybe it sets a 8 to 10 sit-ups, but you're gonna go heavy and add weight, or same thing with knees to chest, right? You don't have to do 20 to 30 reps. You can treat it just as you would with any other lift. But I guess the biggest takeaway point here is do different movement patterns when you're training your core. Don't just rely on lifting heavy weight and bracing as your only core work for a strength sport athlete, because that's what I did for too long. And yes, quote unquote strong core, but I still had a lot of issues and weaknesses in my core and other planes of motion. So change it up, get creative, and work hard. That's all she wrote, folks. That concludes the video, guys. So there was a lot of talking points throughout the video, kind of updating you on what I'm training for, how I'm training. It is a deload, and this was primarily an upper day, a little bit of log, clean, and press action. Typically I'm programmed 4 training days per week, 2 upper, 2 lower, and I have like an A and a B week format. But since we are 3-ish weeks out from the show, then I'll do just a solid peak phase, deload, recover, obviously compete that weekend. We're gonna be a lot more event specific, pushing pretty heavy, not as many movements or accessories because we were getting specific for the show. But I'm really looking forward to getting more content out on a rather regular basis. I can't promise you what that schedule will look like, but I got KB Media to help me now because I have a lot of other projects going on, which I'll fill you in on with other videos. But just want to touch base, see how you guys are doing. I am still alive and well, actually the best I've ever been in general. So just very grateful to be where I'm at and be able to put out some videos for you guys and get to connect again. But as always, I appreciate the support, guys. Drop some comments. I'll make sure to stay on there and get chit-chatting with you, and I hope your training is going very well. If there's stuff that you would like to see or any comments based on this video, drop them down below, okay? This is a community, like-minded individuals who want to get better, and we're kind of growing through this journey together. So if you look back where these videos started and where we're at today, it's just an ever-going transformation, right, of growth and just change throughout. So hopefully you guys are growing and changing yourselves. But until then, guys, stay a lean, mean strength machine. Follow me on Instagram. I am a lot more frequent on there. Follow Kobe, KB Media, which isn't his name, but I've just given him this name, but he's awesome. So check out his stuff as well. And I'll see you next one. Peace!